Preparing to live stream the meeting.
All right.
Preparing. Setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. Done. Redirecting to YouTube. And bada bing, bada bang. It is that easy.
Here
I
we
just
go.
gotta wait for it to come up. And then I'll share this link on the Facebook so you guys have it.
And
All right, I need to make sure that you guys are in focus. It's looking good. Is that good for you guys?
That looks good. Can you fire this one up too?
Yep, sure
Okay.
can for you. All right, so we are live on YouTube. Here is the YouTube. I just want to make sure that that quality is so terrible. I wish it wasn't so terrible. That's okay. We will figure it out by the third one, hopefully. Man.
At least we got a nice backdrop.
Yep.
yes.
I wish I could use my phone, but you can't do that, unfortunately. So this one, let me just
I think I'm looking to get a new phone next week or two.
What do you even get?
I think an iPhone 11. I'm on a 7 right now,
Uh-huh.
so maybe the 11 we can.
The camera's great. I've got the 11.
Is that the 11 now?
Yeah. I like it quite a lot. Does some pretty cool stuff.
Let me see. Okay, it should have just come up right here, but let me see. Maybe we have to go through the hoops here. Here it is. Okay. All right. So this should come up. The comments should come with it. Sucks that the quality is so terrible. I wish that we could change that. Let me just try 720. That's still terrible. Wow. That sucks. Okay.
All
Well-
right, ready?
I guess we are gonna do what we're gonna do. Let me see if I can, before we officially get started, let's see if there's any way that I can change the quality on this so it looks a lot better.
You got a stat that is gonna blow your mind. Guaranteed.
You save it for the show.
Guaranteed.
Okay, so enabled HD, so I'm hoping that that'll make it look a little better. Can you see me when you're, okay, you can see me a little bit. Okay, is this good, you guys?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, and then you are good to go.
All right.
We'll do it this one so you guys can see yourself. Okay,
Thank you.
Are we live?
Thank you.
you're welcome. You're live. Do you want me to shut this door?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Amanda, thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
As usual, thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second episode of Sports Shorts and More. I'm Chris Pedotto,
Bill Brown.
and we are so pleased to have you with us today. If you joined us last week, or if you are new to the show, what we do is we really try to tie in sports and mental health and recovery. And we have a lot of just great little tidbits that we like to throw out there when it comes to sports, but also really try to have an impact when it comes to mental health. And there is a very strong correlation between mental health and sports.
I'm finding that out more and more when Chris came to me with the idea for the show a couple weeks ago. I thought, yeah, I'd love to do a sports talk show because I love sports. I'm missing it. But the more we uncover, the more it's apparent there are so many ties into what we do here at the Recovery Center in sports.
And one of the things that happened from last week's class was one of the staff here at the Recovery Center, Marilyn Pace, she was, I believe, just very moved and motivated
Mhm.
by the show last week, that she actually went and put together a 10-week curriculum on baseball and recovery.
And it's exciting stuff.
It is. We looked it over, and what we decided to do was we're going to take a little tidbit of each of the 10-week
Mhm.
topics, just as kind of an intro here into the show. And then when we're back in person, I know Maryland is going to go full force into all those topics in much greater detail. And I think with more of a focus on baseball, our focus is just sports in general,
Mhm.
but she has just got some great ideas laid out. And one of those ideas is about teamwork and how teamwork comes to play in sports. And I know for me in my personal life, playing sports growing up, teamwork is huge. Coaches constantly preach that. And, I have kind of a fun little example of how it came to play one time. I played just about every sport out there, from football, soccer, baseball, basketball, track, ping pong, croquet, if that's a sport. But one of my really true loves is basketball, and I still get out and shoot hoops in the driveway today. And many years ago, probably when I was in my late 20s, I played on a church team.
Mhm.
And there was a church tournament. It was always the talk of the church. We would go way out east to the children's home.
Okay.
And the people in the church knew I played basketball. I was actually fairly new to the church. It was a great way to meet a lot of people. They said, "Hey, you want to play on our basketball team?" I was like, "Sure, I'd love to." And so for weeks and weeks, they talked about this big tournament. And I didn't realize how big it was until I got there. And there were a lot of people in the stands watching, and
Wow.
just very enthusiastic. And I believe we were in the semifinals, and we played this team, and they had a gentleman on their team from Xavier University who was a basketball player.
Oh my gosh.
Named TJ Johnson.
He's a
And
big guy.
TJ was 6'5", 6'6",
All right.
shoulders that were just broad shoulder, big guy, really, really good basketball player at Xavier University. And, we're just a bunch of church guys
Right.
who play basketball for fun. So in the first 5 minutes of the game, TJ's pretty much putting a beating on us.
Mhm.
And we realized we're in trouble here. So we called a timeout, and we came together as a team. We talked about, hey, what are we going to do to stop this guy? He is just scoring at will and doing whatever he wants with us. And, I don't think we had a guy, maybe we had one guy who was over 200 pounds, and the rest of us were probably $150
Mhm.
soaking wet. And we decided we were going to put our smallest player on him. And he was kind of like a gnat, just a pest, just, constantly harassing.
Hands everywhere.
Hands everywhere. So he would, wherever TJ went, he went there, his hands were all over TJ, whether he was fouling him or not, we didn't care. He just make sure you get your hands on him. And then we gave him some help behind him. And lo and behold, we came back and we won. And it was one of the most exciting wins for me, because I never played against a guy of that caliber before.
Yeah.
And, and as a team, we came together with an idea, and we implemented a plan, and that plan worked.
Mhm.
And it was just great to see how that came together. So I know, teamwork in sports is huge. And I think you're going to share a little bit about teamwork when it comes to mental health and recovery.
Yeah, I am. I wanted to comment on the story. The first time you told me the story reminded me of remember the hack-a-shack
Yes.
philosophy of hacking Shaquille O'Neal into the free throw line because he was shooting under 50%. I thought that's where you were going, but your story is actually better with the net. Yeah.
But TJ shot free throws much better than
Did he?
Shaquille did.
Okay,
Yes.
so that wasn't a good option then. But the example of the teamwork and change on the fly, I really like because it's something that you're able to do when you have people on your team. When we started talking about teamwork and how it relates to mental wellness and what we do here, it reminded me of something that my doctor told me a couple of years ago. I saw Dr. Tracy Scale, the medical director at GCB for years and years. And she told me one day, she said, "Bill, we're a team and you and I are the quarterbacks of your team." And what she meant was she's a quarterback, but I understood that she was empowering me to make some decisions. So when I thought back on that, I started putting a list together of who really was my team. And for me to go through the 10 years that I did, or 11 years of isolation, and when I was really having a tough time with my illness, my team consisted of Dr. Scale, my case managers, my therapist. It came to include my job coach when I decided that I needed to start working again. My employer, Sean, in the supported employment program at GCB, when I was working in the snack bar, selling Snickers bars and Pepsis, could help out with Pepsi. And the team changed as I grew and as my needs changed. I was telling Chris this morning that my team included Jeff O'Neill, who's the CEO of GCB now and was in 2018 when I first came to the Recovery Center to interview for the job as program manager. And reminded Chris of the first thing that you ever said to me when we met. I was in the lobby. I'd never been here before, and you came out of your office and shook my hand. We were walking back to your office, and you said, "You've got friends in high places."
And lots of friends, actually. I had so many people who came and advocated on your behalf from your team, just saying, what a great job you would do,
Mhm.
in the position that you're currently in and have been holding for the last couple of years. And, I just think that speaks volumes about teamwork,
Mhm.
that they were all there for you, and that's what teammates do.
And-
They have each other's backs.
Yep, and that's a note I made. That's what teamwork's all about. It's every person doing their part for the greater good. And even when you're not all together, people were working for me, advocating for me behind the scenes when I wasn't even involved. And that's what made the teamwork work. And now I'm a part of a different team. We've got somewhere north of 20 staff members here at the Recovery Center, and close to 400 members that we see on a yearly basis. And that's my team now. And I would say, with Dr. Scales' analogy, I would say that you're the quarterback, and tell you what I told her just last week. You're the best mentor I could have asked for. So it's a new team, but it's a team that I'm incredibly proud of and very protective of.
Thank you, and I am too. Just very proud of all the work that we do here at the Recovery Center. I always tell folks I'm so blessed to have such a wonderful staff, and for us to be able to do the work that we do, from the group education to the individual support, and it touches my heart to hear when I hear somebody say, "Hey, you guys saved my life."
Yeah,
And I hear that quite frequently.
Mhm.
And when I started this job, I those weren't words I thought I was going to hear.
Yeah.
It's just it's motivated me to want to keep doing better. And my team, hearing that and seeing my team work as hard as they do motivates me every day to try to do the best that I can do.
I will sit at my desk and I'll shut the door sometimes and just mindfully visualize people that have sat across from me and the conversations that we've had. And it's so common to hear the same thing. When I came to the Recovery Center, I was lost. I didn't have any hope. I tell people that when I first came to GCB and they became part of my team, I didn't have any hope. And Dr. Scale literally carried my hope for me when I couldn't carry it for myself. And I've heard that from people here too. And I love that we're able to do that.
And for those of you not familiar with Dr. Scale, just a phenomenal, extraordinary doctor.
Yeah.
And she just does an amazing job and amazing work. The people she helps out.
She does, and Amanda and I are hopefully going to have her on in a couple of weeks. We've got the next 2 weeks lined up, but hopefully in 3 weeks we'll have her. And one of the things that she says that I'll never forget, and that made me love her when I met her, was good enough is never enough. There's always better, and I love that philosophy.
That's a great philosophy. Like we said, we share a little bit on the mental health side, but the other piece of this show is, what I like to say is, let's talk sports.
Let's do it.
We're both passionate.
All right.
about.
All right. We talked last week about our favorite baseball players. It's
Yes.
baseball season. We're going to change gears a little bit this week. We're going to talk about our favorite sports moments.
Yes, and we're going to share some of those. And if you are watching or listening online, feel free to send in the chat. Send us a little note, maybe if you got a favorite story you want to share. But I know Bill's going to start us off with some of his.
Yeah, and please do. Please let us know what your favorites are. My two, I was surprised. They're both baseball stories. I didn't think they would be. Favorite sports memory of all time, September 28th, 2010. It was at Riverfront Stadium. My son, Harrison, was 9 years old, and the Reds had a chance to win the pennant. The last game of the season, I believe. And we went down to the stadium. Harrison had never been to a baseball game before. We went to the ticket window, and I asked the lady for the best seats that they had. And she said, "Well, I don't have a lot left. Let me look." And she literally said, "Hey, you've got great luck. Here you go." Gave us 2 tickets. We were 2 rows behind the Reds dugout.
Wow.
Yeah, for the entire game. It was 2-2, bottom of the 9th inning. Jay Bruce came up, and I said to Harrison, he's going to swing as hard as he can at the first pitch. And sure enough, out it went. 3-2, won the pennant. That's the last walk-off home run to win the pennant in Major League Baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I remember watching that game on TV and seeing it on the news. I think they ran that clip for about a week in
Yes.
Cincinnati. And I remember, just the electricity that created, you saw a bounce in people's steps
Yeah.
around town because they were so excited about that play and about the Reds and the playoffs. And it was really, truly a very cool moment.
It was
Awesome you got to see that in person.
Yeah, and I actually have it. I actually videoed that via bat.
Did you really?
Yeah, we got it on my phone. Yeah,
Oh, that was
sure did.
fantastic.
So that was a blast. Literally, my second is also a baseball memory. It's from August 22nd of 1989. I was in college in Abilene, Texas, and drove to Arlington, which is right outside Dallas, where the Rangers played. And Nolan Ryan pitched an afternoon game there on August 22nd. He struck out Ricky Henderson, who was the left fielder for the Oakland A's, for his 5,000th strikeout.
Not an easy guy to strike out.
No.
Ricky Henderson's a good player.
No, and Nolan Ryan, as you guys I'm sure know, has more strikeouts than anyone in history, and that was his big one, 5,000. That was a great memory.
How did Ricky take it?
He took it very well. The crowd was all over him when he came out to left field in the bottom half of the inning. They were all chanting "Ricky, Ricky," and he doffed his hat to us and proceeded to steal a couple bases. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he's if he's not the top,
He is the top.
He's the top
Yeah.
base stealer in
He's
baseball.
tough.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player. Not an easy guy to strike out. And yeah, I'm sure Nolan Ryan has got quite a few people on his list that he struck out. over
He
the
does.
years.
It's a neat
Very
list,
good
actually.
players.
Yeah, but Ricky could foul him off for days.
Okay.
Yeah, he could do that. What about you?
I've got a couple I'd like to share. One of my earliest memories is 1975, Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I think it was one of the first games I ever went to as a kid. I
You
was
were
7 years
7
old.
years old. Okay.
7 years old, and my dad took the whole family to the game. We had seats at Riverfront Stadium, way out in left field. And the thing I remember the most was Don Gullett, who was a really good pitcher for the Reds, had come to bat. Usually in those days, when the pitcher came to bat,
Automatic out.
yeah, you go and get your popcorn and your
Right.
drink because you knew they were going to strike out. And Don Gullett hit a home run
Oh my
that
gosh.
landed either 2 or 3 rows right in front of us. I just remember the crowd just going nuts and erupting. And that really kind of triggered my love for baseball, for playing and for watching. And was really that moment when he did that. I just thought that was really cool. And I wanted to be a pitcher, and I was a little pitcher in Little League, and wasn't a left-hander like Don Gullett
Yeah,
was,
right.
but Don Gullett was kind of my pitching idol growing up.
We talked last week about generations being able to come together over sports, and Steve, when you tell that story that your dad was with you.
It was, yeah, it's one of those things where spend time with him and my mom and my brothers was just a really cool thing to
Yeah.
be able to do and still kind of talk about those stories of games that we've been to, and which kind of brings me to another couple games. I was talking to Brian, one of the staff last week, and turns out him and I were both teenagers at a Bengals game that was probably the loudest we've ever heard.
Wow.
Riverfront Stadium. And that was the game where the Bengals played the Washington Redskins, last game of the year. And we were in the playoffs, but we were playing for home field advantage. And Washington's driving down the field, and they got the clock run down. And they got one of the best kickers in the league, Chip Lilmiller. And there's just like kind of this dead silence in the crowd of like, okay, we're going to lose. We're still going to playoffs, but now we're not going to be at home as much as we wanted to be. And so it was, cold, windy day. It was a chip shot. I'm guessing 25, 30 yards,
Oh, gosh.
which was, 99 times out of 100.
Right.
And luckily, it was that one time out of the 100 that the ball goes up, you have this dead silence, and all of a sudden you hear this clank. And even, it's like you knew it hit the upright, but then it was like, okay, a lot of times
go in?
it hits the upright, doesn't go through, and all of a sudden you saw the ball ricochet out about 10, 15 yards, and the roar from the crowd was like something I'll never forget. It was the loudest I've ever heard.
That's fantastic.
Riverfront Stadium. It was just such a cool moment to
Mhm.
be there in person. And the only other time I heard a crowd that loud was I did get a chance to go to the 1990 World Series, Reds versus the A's. And the A's were phenomenal. They were the best team in baseball. They were supposed to just
Bash Brothers.
beat up on the Reds, and the Bash brothers with Canseco and Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire. And they had a really great pitcher named Dave Stewart and a good manager. And they were just supposed to whip the Reds. And I don't know exactly, but I think it was the first inning. I won't swear to that. But Eric Davis came to bat, and Dave Stewart was on the mound, and Eric Davis deposited a home run, I think out almost like dead center field maybe, and the crowd went absolutely nuts. And from that moment on, it's like, okay, you felt like we can win this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they went on to win that game, and the Reds actually swept the A's in 4 games, which was incredible. At
One of
that
the
time.
biggest upsets really in World Series history.
Exactly, and to do it in 4 games was phenomenal. So those are some of my
Those are
favorite
great
sports
stories.
memories. And if you've got some you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from it. We've got Brian actually sent one in on the chat line.
Great.
He said one of his favorite memories, it was the one that I shared, which was Chip Miller's kick going off the upright. But what I failed to mention was Jim Breach. And Jim Breach kicked the game-winning field goal in overtime to secure the home field advantage for the Bengals in the 1988 playoffs. I think if I remember right, I don't think Jim Breach ever missed a kick
He
in
never missed it in fourth quarter overtime.
overtime or, yep.
Yeah, I think, and this may lead to next week's retraction. I think Jim was at Cal when the Cal Stanford band game happened.
Oh, that game?
Yeah,
I know John Elway played for Stanford at
Yeah.
the time.
yeah.
I think you're right. I think it might have been the
I'll have
time
to
he
check
was
that
there.
out. Yeah.
Which is probably, you got the immaculate reception with Pittsburgh and Oakland, and you got the Cal play, and you can go either way with those two being the two most
Yes.
incredible plays in
Yeah.
sports history.
Yeah. Then you'll just see once you see that band clearing and trying to get out of the way of the guy with the ball, you never forget that.
I remember I shared that to my kids. My son's a big sports fan, big Green Bay Packers fan. I borrowed his helmet. I hope he's not watching. I should have said I kind of stole it out. I think he was sleeping, and I didn't really ask him. So if you're watching, sorry about that. I'll get it back to you eventually.
We'll take good care of it.
But yeah, those were just two phenomenal plays
Mhm.
that took place. And
I got to tell you a quick brief story. We used to work with Jim, and he used to come in my office and sit across the desk from me. And I had a little squeeze ball, and I would throw it against the wall opposite me while I was looking at, and he would catch it over his shoulder without looking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was that fast. His hands were that quick.
he's a heck of a golfer too.
Incredible athlete all around.
Yep, I've been in a couple of golf outings that he's played at. His team, I know, won a few of those times. So,
Yeah.
that's what I've heard. Very, very good athlete.
Yeah.
He is. We got a little bit of sports news too, so I want to provide some sports updates
Yeah.
for everybody. When we're talking baseball, one of the things going on in news is Major League Baseball owners recently met, and they've sent a proposal to the players to try and get the season started. They're looking around July 1st, maybe having an 80-81 game season. The players still need to approve it. There's, I think, one hang up that they've been talking about, which was some of the revenue sharing that is involved with it. But hopefully they can work through that, and we will hopefully see some baseball.
That'd be great. So a regular baseball season is 162 games.
Yep.
So we're looking at about a half season.
Have a season. Now, if you're really desperate for baseball, the Korean Baseball League has started.
They are playing. I have watched that.
And they've been
Yes.
giving some news
Yeah.
updates
I've seen
on
Korean
ESPN,
baseball.
So,
Yep.
um,
Guilty.
So I had a feeling you might have been
Yeah,
watching that.
yeah.
Also in sports news, bring this up, Tua Tagovailoa, he signed his rookie contract with the Miami Dolphins. And the reason I bring that up is because Joe Burrow will forever be compared to Tua.
That's a great comment.
Because Joe was the #1 pick, and Tua, before he got hurt, playing at Alabama, was probably projected to be the #1 pick. And so they will forever be compared. So hopefully the Bengals will get Joe Burrow signed here very soon. And,
Yeah.
we'll,
I think, Chris, I believe that halfway through the season, Tua was probably the projected #1 pick. But I think the way the season ended, even if he hadn't gotten hurt, I still would have been all for Joe Burrow coming to the Bengals.
I agree with you. I just, after watching both of them play, they're both phenomenal
Yes.
quarterbacks. But I mean, Joe Burrow had not in a
Season
career
for the
year,
ages.
yes, of a lifetime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
looking forward to see what Joe can do in a Bengals uniform.
We've got some soccer news.
A little soccer news. FC Cincinnati just started having practice.
Do they have a
Uh,
coach?
You know what? I'm not sure on that part. And I think the practice was considered voluntary, but from what I understand, they did get together the past 2 days, and they broke down kind of a little social distancing on some different areas of the field. And so hopefully we will see some soccer here
That'd be
soon too,
wonderful.
which would be wonderful. And then the last piece of news is the state of Arizona has decided to open up business for professional sports. So they've got professional sports teams in football, baseball, basketball, hockey
Yeah.
out there. And they have opened their facilities to allow those teams to get back to work. And at one point they talked about maybe trying to have baseball seasons played in Florida and Arizona. I know that there's no definitive answer on that yet, but Arizona's the first one to really kind of step out of, for lack of a better word, the muck or minutia of what's going on here with the COVID-19. And so they're taking a step forward and trying to get things going.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens to sports. I still don't think we're going to have a 16-game NFL season, but going forward, over the next few years, what things are going to look like, what we're going to be doing differently that we haven't done in the past.
Oh, we got a question on chat.
All right.
And the question is, what do the two of us think about the National League reportedly using the designated hitter this season? You have any thoughts on that?
I have not heard that, but I've had a lot of thoughts on the designated hitter ever since I became a baseball fan. I love the designated hitter. I don't like watching pitchers bat. It's not interesting to me. The designated hitter makes the game more exciting.
I agree with you because I go back to the Don Gula example. It's like, you usually you're getting your popcorn or, running to the restroom real quick while the pitcher's at bat. And there's, you got a few pitchers out there that can hit. Michael Lorenzen's a good example for the Reds, but there's so
Red
few.
Mankiel.
Yep, who was a very good pitcher and then excellent hitter. Yeah, he was a pitcher who turned hitter.
Yep.
So you've got a few guys like that.
The fact that you use the story with a pitcher is indicative of the fact that it's rare.
Yes. So I'm all for the designated hitter too. I'd like, especially the other thing too is you've got this interleague play. And so if a National League team is playing an American League team, American League's really kind of got an advantage because they've used a designated hitter all year round. And so
I really believe that's a big part of why the Yankees have won 24, 25 World Series.
they pay that extra money. They got a guy on the bench who can come out and hit. And vice versa too. For I guess if you're playing in a National League park and you're an American League team, all of a sudden your pitcher's got to go and hit.
Mhm.
He hasn't done that all year round.
Or since college.
Yes. So, I think for consistency and excitement, I'd rather see your best 9 guys coming up the bat.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah,
So
I like that too.
where'd
that come from?
That came from Brian. So Brian, thank you for the question.
Thank you very much.
Well, I think it's trivia time.
Trivia. All right. We had a trivia. We had 2 last week, right?
Yes, just one today.
Got 1 this week. What pitcher holds the record for the most complete games in Major League Baseball history? And I'm going to give you some choices. Nolan Ryan, who you heard a story about earlier, Don Sutton, or Cy Young. Most complete games.
If you know the answer, send us a little note on the chat. I believe we have a caller too. I don't know if our caller's still there. Bob, are you still with us? Bob, do you know that answer?
Very nice. It is Cy Young.
Bob, that is fantastic. Congratulations.
Bob, do you have any idea how many games Cy Young won? How many complete games he had?
About 25.
749 complete games.
For our listeners out there, Bob said 25, which was, Bob, I'm with you. I thought it was around 25, maybe 30.
Here's the kicker. He only started 815 games.
And he finished?
He finished 749. He pitched 7,356 innings, which means in 815 starts, he averaged 9.02 innings per start.
Wow.
Yeah.
He deserves to have an award named
He
after him.
does, yes.
That is
Yep.
phenomenal.
Pretty amazing. 749 complete games. He also has the most losses in Major League Baseball history, but you know what? When you throw the ball more than anybody else, you're going to get that one too.
That's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I never would have guessed those numbers.
No, I had to look those up. I was shocked, especially with the 9.02.
But I know last week we had a little error in one of our,
We did.
which I'm sure we're gonna have many doing this
Yes.
show.
Bill made a mistake last week, and I was telling Chris, I've been watching Governor Andrew Cuomo's reports from New York State, and he said a couple weeks ago that he did his press conference and went home, and one of his daughters said, "Hey, Dad, you said you didn't know an answer to a reporter. You were asked a question, and you said, I don't know. Why'd you do that?" And he said, "Because sometimes I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer. If you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. It doesn't mean you're not smart. It means you have an opportunity to learn." So I opened my mouth and said something that was wrong, and that I did not know. I said that I believe Marty Brennaman was in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame for calling the longest game in Major League history, which is not true. He is in the Hall of Fame. He's in the sports writers wing of the Hall of Fame.
Okay,
So, and
which is a great accomplishment.
absolutely, yeah.
And he is just one of the greats of all time when it comes to announcing
And attitude.
and well, in storytelling too. I heard him on the radio yesterday, and on the is it Scott Sloan's show.
Yeah.
On WWE, he interviewed Marty, and Marty just it's such a great interview too. Just
Oh, yeah.
so many great stories to share. So he's just fun to listen to.
My favorite story is I think it was the Cubs game when he someone hit a home run, maybe an Adam Dunn, and the tradition at Wrigley is to throw the ball back, and 18 or 19 fans threw balls onto the field after the home run, and it made Marty mad. And he talked on the air about hating to come to Chicago because they had the worst fans. And then he and Joe Nuxall got called to the commissioner's office. They had to go to New York City to meet with Bart Giamatti, and Marty still wouldn't apologize.
I remember I knew tidbits of that story. I knew Marty is not well liked or well received in Chicago,
Right.
but I didn't know the details behind it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God! Wow.
Yeah, I love that he went to the principal's office and still wouldn't
Still
apologize.
unapologetic about it. That's awesome. But we also got a little sports joke. Each week we like to do a sports joke, and you will not see me at the Funny Bone anytime soon. That's for sure. But we just wanted to lighten things up with a little quirky joke here and there. So the joke is, Bill, why do golfers wear two pairs of pants?
It's the third time I've heard this joke. I still like it. Chris, why do golfers wear two pairs of pants?
In case they get a hole in one.
You know, I'm gonna come up with a joke for next week.
You know, it's been 2 weeks. I've already released my joke
Yeah,
duties.
we'll just trade off.
It's a lot of pressure. I'm telling you. So I appreciate you taking the sports joke for next week. That
I
would be a
like it.
load off my shoulders.
All right.
So yeah, but it turns into a competition. So you can come up with the best joke. I mean, I've set the bar very low.
The bar has been set. The bar has been set.
And I might reach out. You know what I might do is I'm gonna have to reach out to the audience, because I know Brian knows quite a few good jokes. I might have to enlist Brian's help on this.
Yes, that would be fair.
But next week, you got free reign.
All
Take
right.
it away.
All right.
Well, one of the things we like to do, we like to wrap up with a little bit of knowledge and wisdom, something that can be a takeaway from here that can maybe be beneficial in your own life. And one of the books that I've read and kind of go back as a refresher is The Wisdom of John Wooden.
One of the best college coaches ever.
And great human being.
Yes.
And lived for 100 years, and
Do you really?
he's 100 years old. And actually, the book came out. I think he finished the book a few weeks before he passed away.
Wow.
And if you haven't read it, I encourage folks to read it. But you'll get the short version of it through us.
What's it called?
It's The Wisdom of Wooden. Actually, I got the book here. So this is a copy of the book, and it's just a great philosophy that he had. As from things he learned, from things that his father taught him. And I know last week we talked about integrity, and you really kind of have this moral compass, and that there's no moral or ethical holidays. And I just thought that
It's a great statement.
was a great
I
statement.
also like that you said integrity begins with me.
Yes. And so that was last week's. And so this week, lesson is about helping others. And I learned back when I was in high school, at the Elder High School, the school's motto was Altiora, which means
If that's Latin for, is it I'm gonna get it wrong. It's rise to the top.
That's close. It's strive for the higher things.
Strive for the higher things, sorry.
And that really stuck with me. I really try to whatever I do, I try to excel to be the best that I can be, whether it's I'm out there cutting the grass, trying to do the best job cutting the grass, or, when I come into work, or if I'm with my family, trying to do the best husband, best dad I can be, just really kind of strive for that
That's
highest level.
very, very we're mindful of mindfulness, of always being in the moment.
Yes.
And we talk about that every day here.
And for me, it's, when it comes to helping others, when I was at Elder High School, one of the things that we did was we did a lot of service in the community. And that really stuck with me after college and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to try to be of service to others. And it's really kind of been a calling for me. And for me here at the Recovery Center, it's been 14 years now. And I found my home here.
And you've got a plaque on your wall that you got after I was here a couple months, I think. Johnny Hardy had it made for you, and it just thanks you for your years of taking care of members here.
I was very touched when Johnny gave that to me, and it was from him and I believe the staff and the members. And it's in my heart to do this work. And I've been in the mental health field now for 28 years, and half of those years have been spent here. For the first 14 years, I've asked her, I do a job for 2 or 3 years, and then I get kind of bored with it and want to do something else. So for me, I found my calling. It's here at the Recovery Center, and I've been doing that for 14 years now. And I think that's, look at the work that we do. We are just a great complementary service to the clinical work that's done in the community.
That's a good way to put it. We're a good wraparound service.
And I wanted to share one of the things I learned early on. My mentor has been Renee Capacci. She works next door at the mental health board.
Very quickly, Amanda and I are going to be interviewing Renee tomorrow at 11:45. She's going to spend the hour with us.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know Renee, she is just a phenomenal resource here in Hamilton County. She is got more knowledge, I think, in her pinky finger about mental health and recovery than all of us have combined. She's just a great mentor who's been an inspiration to the Recovery Center and to a lot of the folks who've come here. Talk about outdoor and strive for higher things. I think we all try to strive to be a little bit like Renee when it comes to mental health and recovery.
One thing I love about Renee is that she says, I fully believe that recovery is possible.
Yes.
100% recovery. And I love that. And that gives a lot of hope to a lot of people.
Well, early on, back when I first started, she had provided me with some information on recovery and peer support. And I keep just about everything. And one of the things she taught me about.
And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You've got the coolest filing system that I've ever seen. And we've got,
is it papers everywhere?
It's papers, folders, keys. We've got a roof access through the stairwell. We've got a key that unlocks the roof access, and I needed it one day. Chris you weren't in the office. I texted you, and you said I won't remember the entire thing. You directed me to a particular folder in a particular spot on a particular shelf, and it was in that folder taped to a piece of paper.
I think the term is organized chaos.
That's a great way to say it. Yes, but you know where everything is.
One of the things I was going to say is, that I learned early on is what's called the helper principle. And what I want to do is read this information about the helper principle. This was given to me by Renee many, many years ago, and it really ties into the peer support work that we do here. So the helper principle occurs when helping other people. One's own burdens in life lift, or at least are mitigated. Many people with disabilities report that this is why they volunteer or work within their own disability group. They also report that seeing or helping people better or worse off than themselves helps them to be positive and to appreciate their own situation. By helping in the field, they have an opportunity to see people who are modeling a level of recovery which they can aspire as well. Being involved in a helping field also keeps one abreast of medical advances and basic recovery-related information. I think that ties back to what John Wynn said was, and when you help others, you feel good about yourself. It's kind of that old saying, it's better to give than to receive.
Absolutely.
And I think about the times when I'm happiest in my life is when I've seen something that I've done that has brought joy to somebody else.
Yeah.
I just think that's a cool thing.
I have told you this before. I metaphorically can sleep very well doing the job here that I do. I love hearing the stories from members and staff of where they were when they came to the recovery center and be able to see where they are today, and myself included.
And I'm with you. It's powerful stuff. It's great stuff when you hear those stories, and it does help you sleep well at night.
It
that
does.
You're
It does.
making a
And-
difference in somebody's life.
Right, and I tell people this all the time. When we help someone, get back into the community, we're not just helping them, we're helping their kids, we're helping their family, their parents, their grandparents, changing generations, changing lives.
Yep, right here in the Hamilton County community.
And I've told you this before, I don't know if it's your hidden talent or you're very lucky, but you put together the best staff I've ever been part of.
I second that. They are fantastic, and I love the work that we're doing here. I love the work that we're doing, in the virtual world. It's kind of the cool thing now is, we're getting to kind of take the show on the road.
We're taking
and,
them meet where you are to
Yep.
literal
and
heights.
So no matter where you are in, the world, if you wanted to tune in, you can do that. And, I know some people think that's a stretch when you say anywhere in the world, but we had people from Hong Kong come and visit us. They found our website many years ago, wanted to hear more about the work that we do
Yeah.
and some of the other work that was done in Hamilton County. So, when you say around the world, it really can truly
And
happen.
I know that we have people listening in the down in the southwest where I'm from.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to wish everybody a great day today. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Great show. Thanks very much, you guys.
Thank you. Bob, you still there? All right, my man, we are done. Great job on the trivia question.
Yeah, I want to tell you thanks for that $15 gift card I'll receive.
You are welcome. When you come back when we open back up, just come see me and I'll get you squared away.